So after a while I decided, well, why not make dish towels using this technique that these women developed? So it's a woman's process. These Human Indian women figured this out. Nobody knows how they did it. They used to tattoo their bodies with these giant geometric things, but once they were introduced to trade fabrics, they came up with this and started making all these things instead of tattooing. So that's how it all started. Anyway, so I decided to use this technique. So I did some research and went to town and chose the fabric that I chose because it doesn't have lint in it. It's piqué cotton, so it's got real long strands and they're woven in a way that it doesn't have lint. So I decided to make dish towels, make my own. And that's how I got going. So just an idea of I needed something. My degree is in craft, my second degree is in craft. So I don't pin myself down to one medium, like I don't just sew stuff. I never did this in school. I made books, I made jewelry, all sorts of stuff. So, and this was the first thing I made. Now, with these molas, what people will do is they'll mount them, frame them, and hang them up. And that's what I thought. If I do these a certain way, then after I use them, and I've used this one since 2002, 2003, so almost 10 years. Mount it, it's got that right look to it, the right patina to it. Have folk art. So I always thought this would be fun to sell as future art. Okay, here's one that I slapped together a while back. Brennon, never been used. And then after you wash them, they get that real nice look to them. They soak up real good.
Is that your own design?
Yeah.
I love the colors. They're so vivid. Are they so you mentioned they're molas, so there's like a historical context. Do they use bright colors like that, or is that just what you prefer?
There's an actual mola for a kid.
Oh, okay.
So it's orange and red with black. I would say that's pretty bright.
Yeah, it's really Fauvist or expressionistic. I love it.
Yeah, this piece right here and this piece right here would have nothing to do with each other or with this thing. And this is a little bit better of an example.
Wow. So that's a shirt.
Yeah, it's a blouse.
It's a blouse.
Yeah, these little teeny tiny Indian women wear them. And they get in canoes and they go over to the mainland during the day and they farm land. And then at night they get together on these little islands. And if you Google Earth, the Sandblast Islands, the huts will completely cover the island. So you'll see an island, it's just total huts. It's just real bizarre. And they're teeny tiny. But the women all get together at night. And I finally got some confirmation about 2 months ago that they work frenetically. So they all get together and they just work as fast as they can, and they just pound these things out. And they wear them all over the place. So. No. Okay, I did the most simple of designs, which was a spiral. And that's just basted in, so that the design that you based into it is the design that you end up with here. So in this particular one, I basted it, actually I didn't, but it looks like I basted it with the red to keep the pattern in. Okay, and after you get it basted, you take your scissors, use this one here, and then you cut straight down the middle of it. And you can see one of those. Now when I make one of these, like that one there that's got a lot of turns on it, or this one right here. Okay, I'll use calipers and measure all that to get them straight, and it's actually easy to do with this fabric. You just cut straight down the middle of all of these things. And again, if you have it basted well, you can cut the whole pattern all at once and just have all this stuff hanging loose. And then systematically go through and stitch it all up. Okay, so that's the next step here. pass that around. So when you have a piece that's that size, that's all stitched up and then it's all sliced up like that, you know, it's real interesting to work with. So here, let me cut this one real quick while y'all are looking there. And once you get it all cut up, you have to go back and miter all the corners so everything goes in properly. And that's pretty straightforward. And I'm just going to do a little bit of this to show you because it's real tedious. But one of the things that surprised me is this is a really great tool. I mean, it's like a precision instrument, and it's easy as pie to use. I have a friend that's about this tall, and he's a professional, and he can't get dress shirts to fit. So he buys the smallest size that he can get, and he removes all of the cuffs, cuts the sleeves off, and puts the cuffs back on, and you would never, ever know it. It's perfect. He does it perfect every time. Okay. Now, how good these things turn out depends on how good you cut your fabric. So this is kind of quick and half-ass, but it'll do the trick. Now I'm going to miter all the corners. That's where I started. I won't do that. And that's a little. Okay, so there it is, all ready to go. Okay, when you start going on this thing, if anybody's interested, you can gather around and look. I'm going to take this thing and push all this fabric underneath itself. That would take me about 2 days. It's 1 day to work out your design and get it all stitched in.
So like 20 hours?
When I first started, I had to my partner was real sick and he was convalescent. He couldn't go anywhere and he had tubes and all shit all over him. And so, it was part of the summer.
They're not right.
Yes, exactly. He had a heart attack one day. It was a long time ago. I've had a great life since. Yeah, Beckel probably knew him. Beckel had to build the desk for him. Kenny?
Oh, yeah.
And I do that on all of them. Let's see if I cut this just right. These would all be the, well, I'm not going to do that. Theoretically, when you're done, and if I measure it right, then you technically will have half of this one color and half the other.
And then do you take the basic stitches out, or do you just leave them?
I will cut these out. A lot of times they're real flat looking, so I'll go back and stitch a different color in to liven it up some. I didn't cut this one, sorry.
And how much are you folding under, like 1/8 of an inch, or just whatever you got?
Half the distance.
Okay, yeah, half the distance. So if it was cut here, I'm folding it under, so it would probably be close to touching that.
Okay.
And so when this is going to have a funky corner since I didn't miter it. And again, if I was making a big one and screwed up something like that, which actually I agree with him on that. I wouldn't pay more attention. But if I did screw it up, I would just do it all by hand and make a little hand repair. And some of these I actually do have some original repairs on them. And one of the elements that people consider good design for these is they're asymmetrical but perfectly balanced. And this one I think is a real good example of that because of the way they put these little pieces of thread in when they were breaking up the space just to make it all right. And in all of these, you know, just whatever it takes to make it look right. And that's what they're all about. Was there one in there that had Super X on it? Did y'all see that one?
Is that like off the bullet casing?
Oh, you have to flip through these. That's a really old one right there. I think I brought this. No, I don't see it. Anyway, I've got one. I may have left it at home. I thought I pulled it. And it has the word super written on it.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, there it is. And then it's got a big X design on the back of it.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay. The Kuna Indians, before they knew how to read or before they knew about language or anything, they would see labels and stickers on crates and stuff, and they would copy them into their designs. So the early molas would have lettering on it, but the letters would be all contorted and backwards and just wrong. I don't think I brought any of those. But there was one woman who saw a Super X logo, and she loved it, and all of her molas. And one of the things that I'm working on is I've got a chair that has a seat in the back that are completely separate, and it's got wood in between. And the seat and back are upholstered. I want to get some fabric and get it folded over and pleated and all so it fits on properly, and then mark it all, and then lay it all out, sew a design onto it so when it goes back together it all goes in together perfectly. That's that chair that has all the holes ripped off in the room. Well, yeah. Always have a bunch of ideas going.
These would look great on furniture.
Yeah, absolutely. Pillows, upholstery.
Yeah, actually I've made some pillows out of these.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Or even like lampshades. I mean, so many different ways.
I've done a lampshade, and actually that turned out really, really good.
You should have someone make you a website so you can show your work.
Not interested.
Not interested, all right.
Too much time and not enough money,
Oh,
so you know I make them as gifts.
I think people would pay you for this. Definitely. They're beautiful.
Well, who would buy a dish towel for 20 hours worth of work?
Someone in Portland would.
Yeah, but if
Someone
you
from
bought
what?
a piece of future art,
There you go.
You're gonna have your own hand in it.
Okay.
You're gonna use it for 10 or 15 years and put your own history to it. You know, then would you be willing to pay? Or if you had one of these that's all used and it was mounted and framed, then would it be art? Then would it have value? But as a dish rag, it's a dish rag. So how do you look at this? How do you see it? And at what point can you sell it and make money? Okay.